All right, now we're doing 7Q, sum of cubes. This is by Memento Mori, and 92% of the people like it. So we're going to write a function that takes a positive integer n, sums all the cubed values from 1 to n, and returns that sum. We're going to assume that the input n will always be a positive integer. And for an example, it's going to be input here and then output there. So for 2, it's going to be the 1 cubed plus 2 cubed, so 1 plus 8, which is 9, and then so 1 plus 8 plus 27, which is 36, just like that. All right, so there's quite a few ways we could do this. We're going to start off by doing the while loop way. We're going to say let result equals 0, so we have somewhere to put the sum, and then we're going to say while n is greater than 0, we're going to say result plus equals n star star 3. So into the n cubed, and then we're going to go n minus minus like that, going down by 1 each time till it reaches 0. So let's say return result like that. Test it out. And there it is. And attempt it. Make sure there's no tricks. There's no tricks. All right, good. So that's one way to do it. There's another way we can do it. It's a little more, I would say, convoluted, but it's definitely good to understand what's going on with stuff like this. So let's comment this out, bring it down here, and we'll say right here, const sum cubes equals n, and do an arrow like this, making an arrow function. We're going to come down here and say console.log so that we can test while we go. We're going to start right here. So we're going to use the Array.from method. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it's the static method that creates a new shallow copied array instance from an iterable or array-like object. All right. So basically what we're going to do for the syntax is we're going to have array.from, and then we're going to have the array-like object here, comma, and then we're going to have two arguments for this. So the first argument is the array-like thing, and then the second argument is this function, where we're going to have the element and the index, and then in here we'll just have index plus 1 cubed, right? So, and I'll show you how this works. So, but the thing is, what's this array-like thing? So we'll come right down here to this, and you'll see right here, if we put curly braces, length, and then whatever in there, it'll give us a length. So let's create that right now. We're going to say curly braces, length, and then in, like that. And let's test it out, see if it even does anything. Undefined, undefined. All right, so I guess that's good for a start. So as you see, it created an array with undefined, and since it had two things, the 1 and the 9 in it, the 1 and the 2 in it, it was 1 and 2 like that. So now that we've got that, we're going to have the comma, and we're going to put these ones in. We're going to have the element, but since we don't really need an element for this one, we'll just put an underscore, comma, and then we'll put index right here, and then another arrow right here. So all we're going to do for this is we're going to have parentheses here, index plus 1, so it's 0, index 0 plus 1, index 1 plus 1, all that, and then we're going to cube it. And cube it like that, and now let's test it. So now we've got something like this. It's doing this thing randomly, so that's what we get for up to 1,000, up to whatever number that is, 10, I guess. All right, so now we've got that going on. So now we've got to add all these together, and we're going to do that by using the reduce method. We'll just say dot reduce and have some arguments in there and a little thing for the function. So for the reduce method, if you don't know about it, it executes a user-supplied reducer callback function on each element of the array in order, passing in the return value from the calculation on the preceding element. The final result of running the reducer across all elements of the array is a single value. Basically, this is summed up by saying the easiest to understand case for reduce is to return the sum of all elements in an array. All right, so that's all we're going to do is sum these things up. So for the syntax, we're going to say that array we just made dot reduce, and then we're going to have an accumulator and a current value as the arguments in this. The arrow right here, and then the expression right here. All right, and the expression is just going to be current value plus accumulator. Excuse me, accumulator plus current value. Either way, and what's going to happen is the accumulator is going to start off at index 0. So the first one's going to be 1, and then plus what's at index 1, then plus what's at index 2, then plus what's at index 3, and so on and so forth until we get to the end, depending on the expression. So we're going to say in here, ac, comma, cur, inside a new set of parentheses, and then we're going to say in here, let's bring this down so that we can get some room. All right, and then we're going to say inside of here, ac plus cur, just like that. And now let's test it out. All right, now we've got the answer. So let's get rid of the console.log so we can test it out and see if there's any tricks. All right, that works. And attempt it. All right, there we go. It works. There's one more way we could do. Well, there's plenty more ways actually that we could do, but there's one more way we're going to do right now. All right, and it's a funny way. So we're going to say const sum cubes equals in arrow. And the thing about this number, this sum of the cubes, is that there's definitely a math formula for it already. So we're just wasting our time if we're playing around. Or actually, we're just learning things. We're taking ourselves to school. So basically, we do n times n plus 1 and all that squared divided by 4, and we get the answer. So let's the hardest thing about this, let's try to remember what this says. N times n plus 1 squared. All right, so we're going to say n inside of parentheses times another set of parentheses, n plus 1, and then we're going to square this whole thing times 2, and then we're going to divide the whole thing by 4. Let's see what happens. Test it out. Ah, look at that. And attempt it. Oh, there we go. Submit it. All right. And so you see that's basically how we did. And we could have done an if statement. We could have gone and done a whole thing about the ternary operator and everything. Oh, I missed out. Ooh, and it had some recursion too. Oh, this could have been an epic video. But anyway, here's this. Let's go over to mine. Just me on this one. Best practice, in my opinion, because that's a lot of practice. Very much like it, and we'll see you next time.